Hi, Brad.
Hi.
All right, first question.
Sure.
Let's see. Should you try a class out for a month before trying out another coach or technique?
Boy.
Or how much time should you spend in a class before you decide maybe I need to find a new technique?
I mean, obviously I'm biased because, you know, I run a school and the technique that I teach is one that I completely believe in. You know, as far as I'm concerned, if you're in a class and you're not having fun and you feel like it's compromising your mental health, or your teacher is asking you to do crazy stuff. For example, I had another student of mine who started working with me who said that because he had to do a role in a movie playing a gang member, and his teacher told him to go hang out with real gang members in downtown New York City. And the actor was telling me he literally was sitting next to a guy selling crack and thought he was going to get killed. And the teacher was really excited that he got this close to the real world. So you don't need to do that. There's other ways to work, which we teach here at our school. Yeah, so I think it should be a fun place and a safe place. I think you should be in a place that gives you positive reinforcement and a practical approach, a technique that has some longevity. You should know pretty quickly. There are also classes out there that that if you're not working in every class, you know, I've heard of other schools where, you know, you pay for a month and you're only acting once or twice a month instead of every week. So, you know, it's an acting class. So as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of like going to the gym, and if you go to the gym and just hang out and watch people work out, how good are you going to be? Mm-hmm. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Yeah, that's so helpful.
Good.
All right, next question. Who is your favorite actor of all time based on talent and emoting?
Gosh, I mean, there are so many that are, you know, my favorites. I mean, probably one of my favorites. I can name a few. Denzel Washington is probably way up there at the top. I mean, his ability to emote and evoke emotion and be vulnerable and allow himself to connect to the material and let go and immerse himself in the role, incredible. Anthony Hopkins, of course, amazing. Susan Sarandon is another great one. Julia Roberts is awesome. You know, these are all characters, these are all actors that understand, you know, the concept of having to be very emotional and intense in the characters that they play, because that's what comes off the page, that's what comes off the page and is very intense when on camera. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, those would be some of my favorites.
Cool. Thanks for giving the male and female favorites. That's always nice.
Sure.
All right, last question. This person wants to know, how do I connect to the audience and make them laugh and have the casting directors love them?
Wow, okay, so that's a big one. Okay, so how do I make them laugh? Number one, you have to be believable and honest. You know, acting is not being a comic. It's not about doing just sort of shtick. It's not Saturday Night Live sketch comedy. If you do that, then you may get some laughs, but once it's over, you know, your audience forgets about you. What you're trying to do is create a character that the audience can connect with and relate to, and kind of reminds them of themselves or people that they know. So the characters that you're playing in any comedy, first and foremost, have to be believable, and they also need to believe that they're in a drama. Not improving a performance, not trying to make it a performance and sort of making it believable and honest is probably one of the most important things you can do to make a casting director like you. A lot of actors, especially not seasoned ones, when they audition in front of a casting director, they feel this need to get up and perform and do stuff and make it exciting, and forget that the reality is that acting is the ability to be a real person and interact with another person the same way people do on planet Earth. So we need to make sure that when we're in a scene, and that's with a reader in front of a casting director, that you're completely reacting off of your reader the same way you would in real life, and not feel this need to sort of elevate it or make it something. That is a great way for your casting director to also like you. Lastly, as far as comedy goes, there are specific reasons people laugh, and we teach those principles here. It's not like an accident. You know, first and foremost, you need to learn how to play a believable character. But after you do that, Then you start tapping into the principles of comedy and why people laugh, how to set up a joke, where do I put a pause before a punchline, how do I understand a reaction. For example, one principle I'll give you as far as why people laugh is having an element of suffering. So for example, if somebody trips and falls and they don't really get hurt bad, they just trip and fall and it looks funny, you've tapped into two comedic principles there. One, you're funny to look at, and two, you have an element of suffering. And actually a third one, which is the doing opposite to what the audience will expect. So those principles also will help you with comedy. So hopefully that answers your question.
That's so great. Thank you. All right.